Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, former opposition leader Raila Odinga is cheered on by his supporters as he hoists boxes of material for his Supreme Court challenge of last week's election result in Kenya. He lost out to President-elect William Ruto and accuses him of criminal subversion of the vote. Also, it's a big week for Angola. Millions head to the polls that will decide their next president later this week. The opposition's electoral coalition calls for change are met with campaign excitement, but the ruling MPLA are still going strong. And the community at the heart of mango production in northeastern Egypt holds a hopeful festival in honour of the fruit on which their livelihoods rely. The crop's taken a hit from climate change. But first, a week after Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto was declared president-elect, his beaten rival, Raila Odinga, has officially filed a Supreme Court challenge to election results. Despite calls for him to concede, he's accusing the Electoral Commission and Ruto of criminal subversion of the vote. Vivian Wandera has more.
The former opposition leader officially filed the presidential petition barely an hour and a half before the deadline. Odinga was met by a huge crowd of his supporters who had been waiting for him since morning to show their support to him. In the petition, Odinga and his running mate Martha Karua are seeking for an audit of the election technology and the results announced. The former Prime Minister, who was also running for president for a fifth term, is alleging that results from 27 counties were neither verified nor tallied. These allegations come after the Azimio la Umoja party principal raised the allegation of rigging, voter bribery and vote tampering against his opponent, the Deputy President William Ruto. Both Karua and Odinga are seeking for the results of the presidential election to be nullified. The respondents now have 4 days to address the issues that have been raised in the petition. The Supreme Court has 14 days to listen to arguments from both parties and deliver a judgment by the 5th of September.
Well, Mali has a new acting prime minister. The country's military junta has named Colonel Abdoulaye Maïga as a replacement premier after leader Choguel Kokala Maïga was admitted to hospital. Camille Nedlek tells us more about the man who, for now, is at the civilian reins.
He's become a familiar face to many Malians. Army Colonel Abdoulaye Maïga has been the Minister of Territorial Administration since the end of 2021 and is now also a government spokesperson. Though he's not one of the officers behind the 2020 coup, he is thought to be close to the leader of the junta, Colonel Assimi Goïta. It was Goïta who made him interim Prime Minister. Like his predecessor, Choguel Maïga, Abdoulaye Maïga has a habit of giving strident speeches against the West, reserving a special ire for France, Mali's former colonial ruler.
La France, qui a toujours œuvré à la division et à la partition de notre pays, est mal placée pour donner des leçons au Mali. Le gouvernement de la transition exige du président Macron d'abandonner définitivement sa posture néocoloniale, paternaliste et condescendante pour comprendre que nul ne peut aimer le Mali mieux que les Maliens eux-mêmes.
That approach may come as a surprise given that Maïga studied defence and international security policy as well as human rights and humanitarian law in France. Other details of note on his CV include stints at ECOWAS and MONUSCO, the UN mission in the DRC. Both organisations have been strongly criticised in recent months by the junta. This appointment reaffirms the military's hold on power in the country, with both President and PM now colonels. Abdoulaye Maïga is also responsible for preparing the country for its presidential elections, slated to be held in 2024, when the military has pledged to return power to civil society.
Look now at some news in brief. Somalia's Prime Minister has called al-Shabaab extremists behind a deadly siege of a hotel in Mogadishu the children of hell. Hamza Abdi Bah has also said that his government will be held responsible over the armed attack at the Hyatt Hotel, in which at least 21 people were killed in a 30-hour siege between Friday and Saturday. Security forces have been criticised over the length of the standoff. South Africa's National Prosecuting Authority says that it will examine the findings of a police investigation and decide whether to press charges against the country's finance minister over sexual assault allegations. Enoch Godongwana has been accused of assaulting a masseuse in a hotel room earlier this month. He denies the allegation and says that his wife was in the room at the same time whilst he was being massaged. 4 nuns have been abducted by gunmen in southeast Nigeria. The Catholic sisters were kidnapped near Okigwe in Imo State on Sunday as they were on their way to Mass. No one's yet claimed responsibility, but southeastern Nigeria has seen a surge in violence that's been blamed on IPOB separatists who have denied being behind the spike in attacks. Now, 14 million Angolans will vote in parliamentary elections on Wednesday. That will decide who will be president. The vote is expected to be one of the tightest in 30 years, with the MPLA, the party that's been in power for half a century, facing a wave of discontent over the economy. The frustrations could give the opposition UNITA its best chance in years. Our correspondent reports.
It was a show of force by Angola's ruling party. President João Lourenço did not hold back from spending big money for the final rally of his campaign.
Este mandato foi também mandato em que rompemos com alguns tabus, começando pelo tabu da luta contra a corrupção.
For MPLA supporters, João Lourenço's re-election is a foregone conclusion.
Promete e faz. Nós não temos dúvida de que ele é melhor dos presidentes que estão a concorrer, porque ele mostrou que ele é capaz de mudar essa Angola.
The MPLA has been in power for 47 years and controls most of the country's resources and state media. UNITA, the historic opposition party, meanwhile, has run a more low-key campaign, reaching out to voters in deprived areas hardest hit by the economic crisis.
Hoje são pessoas sérias a comer nos contentores.
Mas o que nós temos que fazer? O que nós temos que fazer para isso mudar?
O que nós temos que fazer é primar pela mudança.
UNITA believes it has its best chance of victory in decades.
A aceitação que a UNITA tem esse ano é extraordinária. Em todos os anos não teve, mas desse ano é extraordinário, muito diferente. Temos assistido, o cara jornalista assistiu uma pequena marcha. Qual é a situação que nós temos?
UNITA owes much of its success to the charisma of its new leader, Adalberto Costa Jr. At 60, he's rallied several opposition parties behind him. For this political scientist, Wednesday's vote could be the tightest since the country's first multi-party elections in 1992.
Tens esse grupo de jovens que olha para o Adalberto, por exemplo, como jovem. Para eles, ele tem a articulação dos jovens, mas do outro lado tens o problema do tradicionalismo. Há voto tradicionalista que não vê o programa eleitoral, mas olha para o partido.
14 million people are expected to cast their votes on Wednesday to elect 220 MPs and a new president.
Former Ivorian First Lady Simone Eivet Bagbo has stepped back into the political ring, but this time on her own terms. The 73-year-old launched her own left-wing party over the weekend to oppose President Alassane Ouattara's government. The move cements her political divorce from former President Laurent Gbagbo, with whom she founded the powerful Ivorian Popular Front. Our team in Abidjan report.
Simone Eivet Bagbo is enthusiastic about her new beginnings. On Saturday, she celebrated the launch of her own political party in Abidjan, the Mouvement Génération Capable.
We have launched, and like a powerful stream, we will reach the shore of the new, transformed, modernised Ivory Coast.
Bagbo was the Ivorian First Lady from the year 2000 to 2011. She was then imprisoned for 7 years for her role in the political crisis, triggered by her ex-husband's refusal to relinquish power. 3,000 Ivorians were killed in civil war. But President Alassane Ouattara granted Simone amnesty in 2016. She's now embarking on her own political journey, independent of her ex-husband. Last year, Laurent Gbagbo filed for divorce and founded the People's Party of Ivory Coast, or the PPACI.
The PPACI received an invitation but did not come. We have taken note of this, and we do not blame them. Everyone is going their own way.
Both new parties are left-leaning, but offer separate visions. The PPACI did not wish to comment on the launch of the MGC. It'll take time to make its mark on the Ivorian political landscape.
Simon Eyev is very important, a person of influence, but she's still Simon Eyev Bagbo, so somehow a person who remained in the shadow of her husband.
Simone Bagbo was previously known for her formidable support of her former spouse. Now, she's determined to show that her political vigour can rally others to her.
Well, in Ismaila in Egypt, it's a region that's known for its production of mangoes, production which has taken a hit over the past few years as climate change pushes farmers to adapt and have to come up with new strategies. Last year, they lost 70% of their crops because of unexpected heat waves. But this year, things are looking up. Caroline Lomboli tells us more.
Organisers spare no effort. As mango production picks up again, they're hoping to attract new investments and boost exports. Agriculture is a lucrative sector for this Egyptian governorate, with exports over the past 3 years totaling $1.4 billion.
أنا من عشاق المانجا، بحب المانجا جدا وأول ما سمعت إن في مهرجان للمانجا نزلت على طول.
Last year, farmers lost 70% of their harvest.
إسماعيلية كان في السنين اللي فاتت كانت بتمر بظروف المناخية خلت المانجا المحصول بتاعها قليل جدا وكان مرتفع في السعر، لكن الحمد لله السنة دي الشتاء كان البرودة بتاعت الشتاء خلت المانجا بسم الله ما شاء الله الطرح فيها والشيح يجيب إنتاج وفير وإنتاج غزير.
Faced with climate change, there is no choice other than to adapt.
المناخ قبل كده كان مناخ مظبوط جدا 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 بالنسبه لانتاج المحصول المانجا في مصر. اصبح المناخ دلوقتي متغير، ما عادش المناخ اصبح غير مظبوط او مش مظبوط. يعني ايه؟ ممكن تطلع من شتاء تخش في صيف كده فجأة، ممكن تطلع من صيف تخش في شتاء فجأة. فطبعا ده بالنسبه لمحصول المانجا يغير المناخ خالص.
But with more ventilation and just the right amount of fertilizers and pesticides, he says it's possible to boost production. Others in the sector have started trialing foreign species.
احنا بدأنا نزرع انواع اجنبيه تبدا تتناسب مع المناخ حاليا. كل الانواع دي بتمشي مع المناخ حاليا، تستعمل مع الحراره ودرجه البروده الشديده.
But they won't be letting go of the local species just yet. Their taller trees provide cover, protecting the new foreign species from the elements.
It's really boosted my love of mangoes. That is, though, all we have time for now. Thanks for joining us. Do so again. Take care.